Hey everybody, Rodamon here. Thanks for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included episode 57. So, before I get started, I just wanted to let you all know that this episode and the next 3 episodes will all be pre-recorded. I am out of town, and I didn't want to leave you all with nothing to watch, so I pre-recorded it. What this means for you is that I am not going to be able to incorporate feedback until episode 61 or so. I just want to let you all know that. And alright, let's get started. So, I did notice one thing wrong, which is that a smart battery that I replaced to run the steam turbine AI was incorrect. And the net result of this would have been that oil, it's already starting to happen, actually. So let me stop doing this. Oil is getting superheated to the point where it's close to phase changing, which would be very destructive to my oil refinery. So I am going to stop refining oil and to let the oil cool down and run off of these steam turbines here. So let's get back to where I left off last episode, the nullifier. I'm actually going to change the layout of this nullifier a bit, where I'm going to dig out a little bit of a trough here for it. And we have a printable. Shed nymphing. Sure. So once I get set up closer to being able to set up the nullifier, I'll explain exactly how it will work. But one thing I do know I'm going to need to do is to run a ladder. So I'm going to make a granite ladder here. I'm going to need to run a ladder so that I can run... Well, I don't need the ladder, but so that I can run my plumbing all the way up to space. So what's going to happen is I'll be using petroleum because it has a low freeze temperature. And I'm going to be running a line of cooled petroleum basically all the way to space and then back. It's going to have to make a return trip, which means a lot of plumbing to cool down the space dock. This is one of the reasons why I was not so eager about using a nullifier, because essentially what will happen, and let me try to demonstrate, very, very, very cold petroleum that was cooled via a Aqua Tuner, and the nullifier will come into this pipe here. Then radiant pipes will cool down the checkpoint and cool down the, essentially the temp shift plates, which helps to cool down the miners and the scanners and all this stuff. And then that warmed petroleum then has to circle all the way back down into the Aqua Tuner to make a return trip again. So it is a big closed circuit, much like a refrigerant line in a refrigerator or something like that. That's more or less how you can think about it. But that means that I am going to require a absolute absurd amount of plumbing. It's fine, because I need it. But I think it's understandable when I say I did not want to have to make it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be running... Is this... Oh, this is salt water. Actually, the return trip doesn't need insulated pipes, because I don't really care about the temperature it dumps. So I will think about the return trip in a minute, and where to put the plumbing. I will just have the sending trip first. All right, so let's get the nullifier ready for such a project. And there's some little changes I want to make. One is I want to extend the roof a bit. So I'll get that set up. So that would be digging like this. All at 8. And another thing is, if I'm going to be digging out this slime here, I'm going to need a buddy bud and a wheezewort. So let's get that here as well. I'll put the buddy bud here. But I also need the wheezewort because this area is a little bit too hot for a buddy bud. So set these to 8 as well. My glass forge, I'm going to set this project to 7s. So let's see, lead line out to the forge, and set these to 7s. And the oil is slowly cooling down. I'm definitely going to need to run my... Why is this off? Oh, enabled. The steam is really, really, really hot. What is going on here? If... Oh, this is because it's Celsius. Yeah, actually, the steam is not that hot. Alright, so the oil is back to sort of normal temperatures now. I'm used to, my display temps is kind of weird right now. So, alright, we can now run the metal refinery. And I think I'm going to need some refined carbon. So I will get a whole bunch of refined carbon running. Alright, so this crude oil is 182 Celsius. That's a lot more temperate. And now that the smart battery has the steam turbine running often, I think we're good. One other thing I'm going to need to do is let's replant some of these weezeworts. I noticed that these 2 weezeworts up here were dug up. I have a bunch of dormant hydrogen geysers, so it's a really good time to cool down the hydrogen that's there. And now I'm also looking for places where I can reclaim some weezeworts, because I'm very weezewort reliant. I will happily and openly admit that. So I just need to min-max my weezewort usage. Alright. Back over to the nullifier. So now, underneath the nullifier, I'm going to put metal tiles of gold to help conduct heat. Put in some ladders here, and then let's not bother to do this right now. Put in some ladders and then sweep. So let's go all 8. Oh no, 8. Here we are. And I'm raising the ceiling a little bit as well. All right. A part of me is still considering putting in a carbon skimmer that I maybe run off of a switch. Because, as you can see, there really is a lot of carbon dioxide here. So a carbon skimmer would be a little weird because it would require... No, I don't know about that. So the issue with the carbon skimmer is it would require water. And I don't really want to bring a water line up here when I already have to run 2 other lines. So that's a big old no thanks. I don't really need even more plumbing requirement. That sounds like a bad time. So above here, I'm going to put gold tiles as well for the Aqua Tuner. The Aqua Tuner requires floor support. Let's go ahead and sweep up all this slime so it stops outgassing. Sweep up all this stuff too. And the Buddy Bud will help prevent the slime lung spread. Right now, this whole chamber is full of slime lung. But as this air gets pumped out here, this is going to be full of slime lung. But we'll get that fixed. So high priority sweeping. The lines for... And I do have the volcano taming on sort of a back burner here. Fully acknowledge that. The glass forge I want to make first, because the glass forge is going to help me power up all of my new space projects as well with the solar power. Because as you can see here, we've got these new lines here, but I have nowhere to really put my... I you know, I have a ton of space for solar power panels, but I don't have solar power panels yet. And I want them. So, a whole lot of projects. I also have, okay, we already deprioritized that, but I have a lot of food right now, so I probably don't need to produce anymore. Okay, once we're done sweeping this, I'm also going to start the temp shift plates. So it's going to be important that underneath the thermal nullifier, I have a bunch of temp shift plates to send the temperature around to my Aqua Tuner area. And it looks like I'm out of diamonds, so let's go mine up some more. Right. Right there. Perfect. Just trying to get the most convenient diamond first to limit the amount of work I have to do. Oh, okay. This is not, because this is not in a carbon dioxide environment, it is not spewing out sporchids. That's good. That's really good. Trust me, that's really good. That is a virus you do not want an outbreak of. Okay, once we mop up the granite, what I'm going to be doing is putting in a floor of insulated tile down here. Like this. And yeah, there's a little bit of slime lung here, but nothing too bad. And it's being combated. Actually, don't want to vacuum seal this. I want to pull out this polluted oxygen through the gas pump and not have free floating slime lung. And instead push all of this gas into this area here that has a buddy bud, so that the buddy bud can kill it off with its floral scent. So for this buildup of carbon dioxide, what I might end up doing is just adding in a gas pump down here instead of up here, and just having the gas pump dump the carbon dioxide into my carbon dioxide line. I already have a carbon dioxide dedicated dumping carbon dioxide line. So it actually would be really simple to do. It would require some power that I wish I didn't have to earmark for this, but, you know, whatever. Ooh, that's a lot of lime. More steel, please. And the glass forge is getting closer to being ready to be done. I could automate it, but I think initially I'm probably just going to keep the glass forge forging very simply and manually. Alright, temp shift plates. Yep, I did get some more diamond. So what's most important is that the temp shift plates between the nullifier and the Aqua Tuner, which will be placed here, roughly where the gas pump is temp shift plated. And once I have this fully built, I can very carefully explain how it works. As you can see, here is a duplicate running to grab metals that he probably should not grab, if I'm being honest. Just because of the sunburn effect. But here's a great example of all of the doors opening up, because right now I can actually see the load. It is a 700 load left and a 1200 load right. Because of the demand of all these doors are shifted to 2 different transformers. Or 4 different transformers, I should really say. So that's very good. And that way we don't have, like, load stress. Okay, so this is just going to keep pumping. And most of the slime lung water and all that is out. We just have to wait a little bit longer. And while we wait, keep putting in these temp shift plates. So the temp shift plates transfer heat or conducts heat or whatever to all tiles around it. So you don't want it bordering your insulated tiles, or you'll supercool the insulated tiles as well, which just sort of defeats the purpose of the whole insulating it in the first place. But let's set this up to construction 8 and get that underway. So the temp shift plates will help transfer the cooling effect of the nullifier up to where the Aqua Tuner will be. And the Aqua Tuner is what's going to make us supercooled petroleum. And I'm going to have some sort of loop the way I do with the oil here. So if you recall, my oil loops if it's not hot enough. I'm going to have my petroleum in here loop if it's not cold enough. Basically, I don't want to send the petroleum, which I'm going to treat as refrigerant, up to space unless it's of a certain temperature. God, look at that construction. Everybody doing it. Now, it's not a great time to build this because I do have some hydrogen dormancy, right? But, you know, it's fine. My renewable sources of hydrogen, my primary renewable sources of hydrogen, that being my 2 geysers, are dormant right now, so I don't actually have a nice excess of hydrogen to work this project, but that's fine. Okay, so once this vacuum seals, which should be soonish, I'll set up the next phase, which is to put in the Aqua Tuner. And then, let's see, temp shift plates. Okay, we don't have enough diamond, so let me go check on my diamond. I have to scroll real fast down here. So all that, okay, I think we need a new node of diamond. I can tap into this node here, I suppose. And do it like this. There. There's always going to be more diamond that's easy to grab, right? There. So that should be a lot of diamond for our temp shift plates. And I'm using diamond because it is the best material to transfer heat the way I want to have it transferred. Oh, I don't want a temp shift plate there, though. I think during the autosave, sometimes I misclick and put temp shift plates. I don't know how they got down there, but put them where they don't belong. Alright, so this buddy butt has made sure that the slime lung hasn't spread. And what I'll do is I'll disinfect this ladder, which has slime lung on it. And I can also set up a disinfect of everything that's slimed in here. And set all this to high priority. Just because I just don't want slime in this area. And it's really easy to just spray it and kill it. So the return trip for the cooling, I'll have to figure out. Now, I don't necessarily need to cool off my bunker doors. I don't care about the bunker doors or the bunker tiles. I care really only about the electronics. The electronics are the only areas that matter. The telescope, the robominers, the scanners, the sweeper and conveyor loader. That stuff is the priority. Definitely the priority. And everything else doesn't really much matter. So, to that end, what this is going to look like is insulated probably up like this. Or actually, I'll make it run where the power cables are. Just it looks a little bit neater. And then I'm going to start cooling left to right. It does mean that potentially the right side won't get as much cooling as the left side. And if that becomes an issue, I'll have to run a dual line or something. Well, but I'll cross that bridge when I get there. I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Well, still vacuum sealing. We have a little bit more diamond to play with. It's a lot of temp shift plates, but this is going to allow us to make a supercooled petroleum coolant. So it's worth it. And I think what I'm going to do is put this to 7 now, and then put my glass forge to 8. Glass forge is almost ready, so... Waiting for materials. What materials are you waiting for? Iron, I guess? Am I running low on refined iron? I find that to be unlikely. Nope, I have 10 tons of it. And I have almost 10 tons of steel. What I think I'm going to do is disable the steel manufacturing for now, so that I can focus on the glass forge. Because we almost have all the plumbing up for the glass forge. Oh my god. Just get this gas out. It's like super low pressure gas. But it's just taking forever. I'll try to be patient. So, the idea here, up here, is we'll have radiant pipes with thermally conductive, I might actually have it be steel, because I want it to be heat resistant, and steel still has thermal conductivity. So something like this, where we have radiant pipes that cool down where the temp shift plating is. And then the rest of it will be insulated pipes. Okay, so I guess this temp shift plate is not as necessary. I don't need to remove it. It's fine. New printable snazzy suit, sure. And then, in between, we will connect it up with insulated pipes. I don't know, this is sort of a proof of concept. I'm not 100% sure this will work as I want, as intended, but we'll see. And then, as it comes out of here, I no longer... Oh, you know what? I forgot one bit here. Radiant. This could be... We'll just have this be gold. Because I also want to cool down the checkpoint. So I'll have it go checkpoint first. It's going to be a little ugly. That's fine. So something like that. And then when it comes out of here, we can just use regular liquid pipes. Because at this point, all of the heat has already done what I wanted it to do. I'll run it through the gravitas, I guess. God, this is a... The scope of this project, as you could probably sense, is big. I don't mind destroying the cold biome. And then from here, we run it back down to the Aqua Tuner, making the jumps where we have to. So that's my refrigerant cooling loop. It's a big loop, and I don't know if it's going to work intended. It's a lot of work for something that I haven't tested myself, and I apologize for the lack of testing. But experimentation leads to success sometimes. And then that will be brought down to around here, where we bridge jump all the way back to the input of the Aqua Tuner. So that's the run. Okay, this is still not quite vacuum sealed. What about the forge? Okay, the forge, as far as I could tell, looks good to go. Let's do a test run of Molten Glass. I don't want to make too much of it. I want to make sure that the process works well. We'll set this as a 9. And this is so that we can make solar power panels up in our observatory dock. So here, the glass just got delivered. And all of this here is insulated pipes and then a steel vent dropping into polluted water. So here's the forge. Molten glass. As you can see, 3,000 degree Fahrenheit molten glass. It is dumping heat into the surrounding area, but it's not area that I particularly care about, right? And this is making its way... I just have to make sure that this plumbing wasn't so long it wouldn't phase change, and then this glass dumps into the polluted water and quickly cools, as you can see, where it's heating up the water, but because this is such a high volume of water, it's not heating up the water all that much, and now we're going to have temperate glass for us to work with. Perfect. And glass, 25 kilograms. So let's do this 7 more times. That will allow us to make 1 panel. 1 solar panel. And obviously I'm going to need to make a whole lot more glass if I want the amount of solar that I want. But alright, now let's test it in volume. Yeah, and now this is, you know, basically room temperature glass as it transferred all of its heat to the polluted water. And eventually it will heat up this polluted water significantly, but I don't need that much glass, so I'm not worried about that. If you're trying to mass produce glass, yes, you will need to worry about it, but I'm only making a batch big enough to satisfy the needs of my solar panel stuff. I don't need a mega batch, in other words. And in that regards, I'm not really concerned about the amount of glass I need to make. Oh man, I have so many projects right now. I'm not entirely sure that this is going to be reachable. Do it like that. Alright, telescope idle. We are scanning near the edge of space. As you can imagine, perfect visibility out of a telescope is kind of unnecessary, because your telescope gets done so quickly. Oh, what happened here? This must have... I don't know what happened here. Must have gotten damaged through the bunker tile or something. I think that probably happens infrequently enough that I don't really need to worry myself about it. Alright, keep on pumping, keep on pumping. So much. Another thing I'm going to need to do is to supply this... Wow, I'm almost out of Igneous Rock. To supply this nullifier. But if I'm almost out of Igneous Rock, I'm going to need to go find some igneous. Or I'm going to have some issues. I think the lower I go, the more I'll find granite, fossil, sedimentary. Am I just looking at the wrong color here? What would be a metal? I know I can make igneous rock, but that has its own issues. How about I just spot igneous rock with my eyes? Why is this... Alright, so here's some igneous rock, right? What color does this show up? Oh, it's, Oh, okay, it's such a light gray that I was missing it. Rude. It's just a bad color. So there's plenty of igneous rock down here. I'll start to strip mine for the igneous. I didn't realize how low I was. But that's fine. My miners are plenty capable of digging for igneous. Because we're really not going to be able to make these insulated pipes or anything like that without, you know, more igneous. And igneous is slow heating, so it's kind of what we want to use. Did I make the glass? Yes, I have run a 200 kilogram amount of glass. So let's set up the first solar panel. I'm going to be setting up here. Because our telescope's almost done observing everything, I don't need the telescope anymore. So let's break that down. And I very much suspect I'm going to want a lot more glass. So let's do a run of 16 or 24. What's the temperature of this water? So this water hasn't really gone up much at all. It's so much water and so little glass that it's not so far a factor. So here's our first panel. And I'm going to have a heavy watt wire run to it. So let's build this. This is, I think, an achievement when you first harness the sun. So it's kind of a milestone. I'll put a Weezewort here. Actually, no, I'll put a Weezewort over. This is getting too warm to even have the Oxyfern operate correctly. So it's time to put Weezeworts down here then. Alright, no power wire connected. What? Oh, because we haven't built the whole wire. That makes sense. And more gold amalgam. Perfect. Alright, let's look down. How is my igneous? 42 tons. Yep. We just got a whole lot of igneous. Like I said, I wasn't all that worried about the shortage I had, as there is plenty of it down near lava. You can get just a mass amount of it very, very, very quickly. Okay. We are not perfectly vacuum tubed, sealed, whatever you want to call it. I think just being like ridiculously over concerned about this. This is 100%, I will fully admit, ridiculously 100%, absolutely neurotically unnecessary. But I really want it to be purely 100% hydrogen, and I'm not going to be able to do that without another pump, it seems. Or a ridiculous amount of time. So here we are, solar power. The solar power, I'm not going to have an automation. Obviously, it is going to just generate power whenever it wants. And what we're going to do is just have as many solar power panels as I am able to fit out here. And harness the sun and top up our batteries. Speaking of batteries, we haven't had another brownout event in a long, long time, so I'm actually not really worried about adding more batteries to my network. I think because of how infrequently we use the coal generators, I'm not going to bother with control station or tune-ups. Or the lights. Because it's kind of a waste of power. I widened this area here so that we can have multiple lines of plumbing, but as you can see, it's messed up this flower pot. That we can easily fix. And if we check the gas overlay... No, actually, this is fully vacuumed now. Hang on, guys. Yeah, okay, this pump did it. Cool. Well, now we're just about ready to set this up. So let's sweep. And then we'll set up an Aqua Tuner, and then we'll start working on the plumbing lines. How is my glass? Alright, the temperature of the water has gone up 2 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly. And I've made a lot of glass, so yeah. Again, I don't think I'm all that worried about the effects of melting a whole bunch of glass. So the reason I have all these mesh tiles is so that these solar power panels have an uninterrupted source of sunlight. If this was anything but mesh, you know, it would be interrupted and I wouldn't be able to have solar. And obviously you want to protect your solar power panels. They aren't impact resistant from meteorites and strikes and stuff like that, which is why I have them underneath the bunker doors. Alright, our star map is about to analyze the furthest object. And then I'll start to build panels to the left as well. I'm quite proud of the panels, so let's go ahead and these panels, all of these panels, what they will serve to do is, because they're going to be, anytime it's sunlight, they are going to top up the batteries, and it's really going to limit the amount of natural gas and coal and hydrogen and all that stuff I'm going to need. Renewable power sources are wonderful like that. There's also some other things that I use with glass. So what else uses glass? I'm trying to remember. The beach chair allows you to lounge around. This does not require glass, by the way, but it allows you to lounge in space under direct sunlight for morale. Soaking up some sun rays. I could probably do a recreation room for beach chairs if I want sometime in the future. But I'm trying to think of things that require glass. So the pixel packs do, which is like LED lighting. And some of these other things as well, but I'm sort of blanking on what they are. Alright, so we're going to get another solar power panel, and I have enough glass for another one. I don't think... I'll have to break down some stuff over here if I want a fourth one going this way. I don't think I'm going to need to automate my glass forge. I don't think I'm going to require enough glass to bother with like a sweeper here or anything like that. Alright, let's take a look at the... to this abyssalite that I ran this pump through, these piping, no, everything is fine. If we check the temperature here, obviously the glass forge is heating up the area significantly, but other than that, the plumbing lines that I have to serve this area aren't being affected one way or another. And I'm just going to move the Wheezeworts over to the forge. Is there another Wheezewort somewhere else that I can... Oh, good. So these Wheezeworts have made it so that the mealwood is totally fine now. That was something I was worried about for a bit. And now that this is all vacuumed out, let's remove... the wiring and venting and all that. And we'll turn that into an Aqua Tuner. I don't think I desalinate enough to require a Wheezewort there either. So we'll get those moved. Alright, let's do 8 more glass. And I'm doing batches of 8 because 8 is what we need to make more solar panels. So if I wanted a 4th solar panel here, as you can see, it is blocked by this tile. And I think only that tile. I think if I remove that tile, we're good. We're starting to build some of the radiant line here. A lot of the plumbing is yet to be done. If I prioritized it, it would get started a little bit faster, but I'm not worried about that. So now that we have this all vacuumed, the station, or the utility rather, that we want is an Aqua Tuner. And we want one that is high thermal conductivity, like wolframite, I think is a pretty good material to make it out of. And what this does, as I was trying to explain, it intakes a liquid, pulls the heat out of that liquid, dumps the heat into the surrounding area, and then outputs cool liquid. That is the TLDR of the Aqua Tuner. So this is the intake line. And this intake line will trace back like that. And then the output line needs to be insulated. I'm going to try to have a healthy gap between it and the other plumbing that I have in the base. Okay, I'm not going to force a gap, though. I'll have it trace like this. And that's the output line. So that's basically the Aqua Tuner in a nutshell. I'm going to need to power it, obviously. If we take a look at the utility here, Aqua Tuners require 1.2k kilowatts, which means that this little dinky transformer is not going to be enough. I'm going to need 2 of them. Which also means that the power lines I have running off of here can be disabled. And then this power transformer I'm going to disable for now, because it's, you know... It's not needed. Alright, so power transformer, let's set up a second one. And I know it's looking really, really, really busy here. I get that. So, there we go. Ooh, more fish. Thank you very much. Alright, so here's the Wheezeworts we scavenged elsewhere. We'll install it near the glass forge, because the glass forge is making a little bit of a heat bubble. And there we are. We made a bunch of glass. Now, when these bunker doors are closed for strikes, obviously I'm not generating solar power, so it's not a very reliable source of power. You can't always rely that you're going to have solar available, but the benefits of solar, of course, is once you have it built, it doesn't require anything else. It's just set and forget. So I have now set this up so that the Gravitas facility is venting to space. I could probably fix that. Oops. By replacing the tiles. And I'll get that done in a second. Because I believe the Gravitas door is not isn't gas sealed. So if this facility is venting to space, it means I'm venting to space. So that warrants fixing. And in fact, I'll fix that fast. And not that I'm all that concerned. I mean, it's venting a little bit of polluted oxygen right now, and it's venting really, really, really slowly. But it is something that will be a problem in the future. And there we go. We are getting that free power. Alright, just traditional granite is totally fine. And then eventually, once the telescope is done, I'll have 4 panels, maybe even 5 panels on the left. But I could just do nice and symmetric 4 panels on the left. And that will be a lot of free wattage, right? I mean, this is, right now this is 300 watts of power. Which is comparable to what, like, almost half of a natural gas generator? It's a lot of free power. It really, really is. So, and also to say that I would be able to set up bunker doors and solar panels with this sort of same setup. I can run it as far left and right as I want. I am going to need to make some space for a rocket, but there is a lot of wiggle room. Here they are. They're picking up gold amalgam to build the cables here, because the cables are made of gold amalgam, and as a result, it is causing them to have long EVAs, which is not something I particularly want. So if we want 4 panels on the left, that would be 32. And if we take a look at the temperature, yeah, these Wheezeworts are already doing their job. So that is the last of the glass I'm going to need for now. I'm only going to make it when we need batches of it. You know, I don't need an infinite amount of glass. But that is all the time I have for this episode, guys. So a little reminder, this was pre-recorded, and the next 3 episodes will be pre-recorded as well. I am away, and I will still respond to comments and all that, but I won't be able to include your ideas in real time the way I normally do. So if you do provide me feedback, just keep in mind that I won't be able to incorporate your feedback for a little while. But thank you all so very much for watching. I will catch you all next episode. Farewell for now.